What's burning? What's burning? What's burning with KB?
It's time for What's Burnin' with Kevin KB Burns, presented by Bill Lacasse and SRG Financial Advisors. But first, please join us as we honor our great nation with the playing of our national anthem. And now your host, Kevin KB Burns.
Hey, welcome into What's Burnin' right here on Lake TV. Another great show for you. Man, we get some killer guests, and we thank you for tuning in. Of course, we thank our sponsors, our title sponsor, SRG Financial Advisors. Don't forget Budget Blinds, Ozarks Barge and Dock, the good folks at our veterinary at the lake, and how about the wonderful folks at Culligan Lake of the Ozarks, doing a great job and supplying us with a bottled water. They are our official bottled water, the bottled water of What's Burnin'. Got a great program lined up for you. We're going to talk a little bit about what's happening in the trucking world. Rebecca Anderson will join us from Transland Trucking. Marlena Hatmaker here to talk about this significant piece of history at the Lake of the Ozarks, the swinging bridge in Brumley, and a group that's trying to save it. Rioting, it's going on all over the world, and our true history professor, Jim Paisley, will be in to talk about it. And don't forget our furry friends. We're going to check out Shelby at Ozarks Cat and Canine, and you can do it as well. Stick around with us, and hey, let's have some fun. Let's learn some stuff, and let's do it all right here on What's Burnin' on Lake TV.
While the financial services industry for years has focused on products, pricing, and performance, or things we refer to at SRG as the how, our focus for our clients has always been around their why. And without fail, over all these years, those whys have centered around family, occupation, and recreation. Think legacy issues, retirement, or achieving a work-optional lifestyle, and checking off those important things on that recreational bucket list. Our foundational approach remains a focus on the things that matter most to our clients and the things that together we can control. And where those two things overlap, that's where we live and work every day. That's SRG Financial and the Mile Marker Formula.
Looking for blinds, shades, shutters, drapes, or bedroom makeovers? On a budget? You need Budget Blinds in Laurie. Bring your ideas to us, or let our design consultants help you create the perfect look for your home. Because Budget Blinds is nationwide, our collective buying power enables us to search many major brands to bring you the blinds, shades, shutters, and drapes you want for less. Budget Blinds. Call us for a free consultation. Budget Blinds, the best in custom blinds and window coverings.
It was a Saturday. Chris was a good dad. His water practices, not so much. Hey, Chris.
Hey, Culligan. Got a water pitcher for the fam. Pretty safe, huh?
Well, basic water pitchers are passable, whereas a Culligan reverse osmosis system can reduce lead, arsenic, pesticide runoff.
You realize these have filters?
Chris, pour it out.
It's not going fast enough. Just done with that.
When your water's right, so is your world.
I wrote that!
Want a dock that will withstand the wake from a million boats? Want a dock that's different from the usual dock? Then you want Ozarks Barge and Dock in Gravois Mills. Ozarks Barge and Dock now celebrating 35 years of building the best dock on Lake of the Ozarks. And we guarantee every dock we build. So when it comes time to build your custom dock, trust the best and go with Ozarks Barge and Dock, building the best dock at the lake for the last 35 years.
There's a new radio station at the lake, a radio station that's geared towards the community, a radio station where you can have a hand in what we do. Welcome to Key Radio, a community-based radio station that invites you to be a part of the solution. We encourage you to become a content creator. That's right, you provide the content. Listen in at 89.3 or online at keyradio.live. To find out more about becoming a content creator, call 573-280-0532.
Hey, welcome into What's Burning here on Lake TV. KB with you. Glad to have you as a part of our program on this beautiful fall day at the Lake of the Ozarks. The weather is perfect. And the job market apparently is perfect as well. We've got Rebecca Anderson here. Hi, Rebecca.
Hello.
Thank you for coming in today. She's with Transland Trucking, and we're going to talk a little bit about the fact that you folks there could use a little help.
Yes, always.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about Transland Trucking and where you're located and what we're going to do today, what we're going to tell people about.
Okay, awesome. Well, Transland, we are a family-owned and operated company. We just celebrated 40 years in business this year. So pretty big. Yeah, thank you. Pretty big anniversary.
Right.
We actually have a couple other celebrations too. So we were nominated and selected as a 2022 Best Fleet to Drive For.
Right.
Only 20 companies in the United States and Canada are selected as that. So that was this year. And we're located in Stratford, Missouri, so not too far away.
I'm guessing some of that has to do possibly with the fact that you have good working conditions.
We do, yeah.
And so Transland, what essentially do you folks do? Over-the-road truck drivers is who you're looking for.
Yes.
And is there a specific type of cargo that they transport, or is it something more or less whatever people need done, you do it for them?
We do it for them. So the last couple of years, truck drivers, as we know, have been extremely critical. They've always been critical, but we've recognized that the last few years, the nation has for sure. So we do a little bit of everything. We haul general commodities, so stuff that you go purchase at the store, we haul. We do that as well as flatbed. So we do tarping and strapping,
Very good. So you're looking for drivers.
Yes.
And anybody in particular, let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we can work with either people who just graduated a Class A CDL school. We have a training program, so we can put them in with a trainer, get them fully trained, ready to go, and a good professional driver before they go solo. Or we're looking for those with at least 1 year of over-the-road experience.
So is it something that just about anybody who might be interested in a job like that can do? You mentioned a training program. So let's talk a little bit about the training program itself and what someone would have to go through there.
Yeah, for sure. It's a lifestyle, so you learn that as you're a professional driver. It's not just a job, it's a lifestyle. The training program is usually around 6 weeks long. You are paired with a trainer, you do some local runs, you do some regional runs, and then you do over the road. So you're learning a little bit of everything, how to use the systems, how to communicate, how to do electronic logs. That's a really big important thing that you learn. Yeah.
It's a lot of technology like anything else, I would imagine, these days. So do you have to really be tech savvy, or is that something you'll pretty much basically learn?
Yeah, we can train you. So the thing is, if you've never used it before, not a big deal. We have professionals who will help you.
So you have people that are just starting out, to people that have been out there driving for a while, and certainly this is a great opportunity for people to take advantage of this great program. Let's talk about maybe salary, benefits, some of those things.
We have fantastic benefits. So we have, of course, the vacation, the medical, the dental, the 401k with the company match. Salary is going to vary dramatically. So it depends on the position that you take, as well as where your home base is and what type of freight you're hauling. So it can vary dramatically.
Do you haul nuclear missiles?
We do not.
No,
not yet.
I was just curious because you said it may differ based on the type of freight.
Yes.
So again, this is a great opportunity for somebody who might be interested in just getting started, or if you've been doing it for a while. And in comparison to, say, other companies, where do you sit in terms of the benefits? You mentioned the company matches the 401k, and is it a competitive salary? Is it above average?
It's competitive, without a doubt. And what's really cool is we have an incentive program. So you can earn that quarterly, and 98% of our professional drivers are earning that incentive every single quarter. Easy to attain.
So how many drivers are you looking for at this point? Just anybody who wants to come in and, let's say, fill out an application, go through the training? Do you have a specific number?
We're always looking for quality professional drivers.
Right. And I would imagine you probably know best, as is the case with a lot of things, employees are desperately seeking or rather employers are desperately seeking employees. What was kind of the reason behind the big drop-off in truck drivers?
A lot of people are retired. It's the age. People are retiring from the industry. Not as many are going into it. So we're always looking for people who want to be in the industry, who want to have that lifestyle, and we're ready for them.
Yeah. And so, again, this is just a great opportunity for anybody who likes to maybe travel over the road. Are couples encouraged to get involved? Because I know sometimes I've seen significant others, spouses, travel with the driver.
We don't have a team program, but we do allow people to have a rider with them. So we have a rider policy. So you can have a rider who's 8 years or older in the truck with you.
I see. So if you've got a little one that you want to take around, and basically, where do you folks transport your goods as far as the United States? Everywhere?
Everywhere. So we do a lot in the Midwest region, but we are everywhere, all 48 states.
Well, it's definitely a good opportunity for somebody out there that's looking for the right job. And if you've got experience, I'm sure they'd love to have you come out and talk to them about a job. And the company itself, again, is located in Stratford?
Yes, just outside of Springfield.
Okay, so not too terribly far from the Lake of the Ozarks. If you're somebody who has been maybe wanting to get back out on the road for one reason or another, I would imagine that once you are an over-the-road truck driver, it's kind of hard maybe not to be traveling unless you get to that point where you're going to retire.
And we have a great casual program, so you can work for 1 week and then be off for 2 weeks. Perfect for those who are ready for retirement.
I was going to ask you, that's something kind of nice. Can you pretty much make your own hours?
Almost. So we have lots of different divisions that can meet lots of different needs.
Sure. Well, this is a good opportunity, again, for somebody who'd like to maybe get started. You've always maybe considered it as a career. You want to, get back out on the road for one reason or another. And I guess, obviously, the things that we need to talk about now or how they can contact you.
Yeah, you can call us at 800-234-5710 or go to www.drivetransland.com.
Yeah, and what is your position with the company?
I am the Director of Recruiting, Marketing, and Communications.
Very nice, very nice. It's an enjoyable position. You like it?
Yes, been there 7 years.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
Well, it is Transland Trucking, and if you're interested, of course, we've got the information up on the screen for you. Contact Rebecca, and they'll get you started maybe in a career that you'll be doing for quite a while, or as Rebecca alluded to, you can do it casually, you can do it full-time, whatever you feel like is the best route to follow. Transland Trucking in Stratford, Missouri, just outside of Springfield. And Rebecca, we thank you for taking some time to join us.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Hey, stick around, folks. We've got more coming up right here on What's Burnin' on Lake TV.
Enjoying What's Burning with KB right here on Lake TV? Have questions, comments, or suggestions? Have an interesting story for KB to tell? Or maybe you want to be interviewed by KB on the show or are interested in sponsoring? All you have to do is reach out to KB at kb@mylaketv.com.
While the financial services industry for years has focused on products, pricing, and performance, or things we refer to at SRG as the how, our focus for our clients has always been around their why. And without fail, over all these years, those whys have centered around family, occupation, and recreation. Think legacy issues, retirement, or achieving a work optional lifestyle, and checking off those important things on that recreational bucket list. Our foundational approach remains a focus on the things that matter most to our clients and the things that together we can control. And where those two things overlap, that's where we live and work every day. That's SRG Financial and the Mile Marker Formula.
Want a dock that will withstand the wake from a million boats? Want a dock that's different from the usual dock? Then you want Ozark Barge and Dock in Gravois Mills. Ozark Barge and Dock now celebrating 35 years of building the best dock on Lake of the Ozarks. And we guarantee every dock we build. So when it comes time to build your custom dock, trust the best and go with Ozark Barge and Dock, building the best dock at the lake for the last 35 years.
Looking for blinds, shades, shutters, drapes, or bedroom makeovers? On a budget? You need Budget Blinds in Laurie. Bring your ideas to us, or let our design consultants help you create the perfect look for your home. Because Budget Blinds is nationwide, our collective buying power enables us to search many major brands to bring you the blinds, shades, shutters, and drapes you want for less. Budget Blinds. Call us for a free consultation. Budget Blinds, the best in custom blinds and window coverings.
Your furry friends are more than pets, they're family. And at our veterinary, we understand that. With multiple locations, we can service your pets when and where you need it. Our team of professionals offer routine wellness, orthopedic care from broken bones to joint repair, and even emergency services. We are ready to welcome your pet to our family with medical or preventative care. Our veterinary, with 6 convenient locations, the team providing exceptional care for your pet when and where you need it.
There's a new radio station at the lake, a radio station that's geared towards the community, a radio station where you can have a hand in what we do. Welcome to Key Radio, a community-based radio station that invites you to be a part of the solution. We encourage you to become a content creator. That's right, you provide the content. Listen in at 89.3 or online at keyradio.live. To find out more about becoming a content creator, call 573-280-0532.
Want to get to know local leaders better? Join Lake TV for the COMC Community Spotlight Show weekdays at 9:02 a.m., 3:02 and 7:02 p.m. Chris Schneider talks with local leaders to find out more about them and their organizations. It's the COMC Community Spotlight Show on Lake TV.
Welcoming you back into What's Burnin' on Lake TV. Beautiful fall day at the lake, but still a good day to hydrate. My goodness, why not take the time to talk with our friends at Culligan Lake of the Ozarks. They are the official bottled water of What's Burnin' here on Lake TV. They can do a lot of different things, provide you with these nice bottles or the big 5-gallon jugs and the water cooler, or they can come in, sample your water, tell you what you need, and make it that high-quality H2O we've talked about plenty of times. Our good friends at Culligan Lake of the Ozarks, 573-346-5221. Marlena Hatmaker is joining us at this point to talk a little bit about what I would consider a historic landmark here at the Lake of the Ozarks. I would imagine a lot of people who've lived here would probably do the same thing, and that is the historic Swinging Bridge in Brumley. And there is a campaign on to save that bridge because, I've been out there with Bill Mulder with our On the Trail feature, and it could definitely use some work. Marlena, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
Great to see you. Let's talk a little bit about the bridge itself. I know it was built back in 1931, and it's been a place where a lot of us growing up around the lake have enjoyed, and certainly a lot of visitors have enjoyed as well, but it is definitely in need of some repair.
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about your group, your organization, and what they are trying to do to make that happen.
Well, we are raising money to get the necessary repairs done so that we can get the bridge back open to vehicle traffic.
Right now, that is something that is, it's, I guess, kind of a pain for some folks because that means a long drive around.
Yes.
Whereas a lot of people were able to go over the bridge and save quite a bit of time. But
correct.
Again, it's the historic value of this bridge, I think, that is very important as well, being around almost as long as Bagnell Dam itself.
Yes.
What are some things that need repair? What are some things that need work on that particular swinging bridge?
Well, currently the first phase that has to be done in order for the bridge to reopen with a weight limit of 5 ton are the cables need to be fixed, as well as some concrete work.
Now, are we talking fixing the cables or actually replacing them?
It is a process of they put new cable over the top, anchor it to the old, and then retwist it to get that retention.
And that is something that is not very common, I guess, these days on a lot of bridges when you take a look at how certainly bridges are built.
Correct.
So I would imagine that has a bit of a cost involved.
Yes, and for the first phase, it would be around $160,000.
Wow.
Of course, this estimate is about a year old.
Right.
So they told us to expect a 20% increase due to inflation.
Right. And this is a movement now. One of the ladies that I've talked to that's involved with your group, Kathy Jeffries, who comes out, sets up at Hot Summer Nights and other events, essentially to draw awareness to what it is that you're doing.
Yes.
She has told me that, it's been a little tough as far as the fundraising aspect of it, but have you worked at all with Miller County in trying to get some of this taken care of? What's the county's position at this point?
What we were told was that for year 2023, they have set aside $175,000.
Right.
And then by Tom Wright, at the time, he told us that $25,000 has been pledged by both Ameren and Gas Casage.
And so that is essentially money that is in the bank at this point, but you've obviously got a long way to go.
Yes.
We talked about these cables that are necessary. What are some of the other things that you will definitely have to work on? You mentioned concrete as well.
Yes.
I'm sure that's going to cost a pretty penny.
Yes. And as far, they have 5 phases listed. To get the bridge back open, currently the engineers have specified in the report that the first phase is what needs to take place in order for the bridge to be back open for traffic.
Right.
And then the remaining work, they are calculating it to take place over the next 10 years.
Okay.
To keep refurbishing it, keep maintaining it, and keep it up to par. If you do all 5 phases, there's a possibility that they could get that weight limit up to 15 ton.
Wow. That would be something very impressive. But then again, there is the phase that we talk about here in terms of maintenance. I mean, that is so very important. And that is why I guess a lot of this is happening or has happened the way it has through weathering and various other types of deterioration. You know, the vehicles traveling over it, putting the stress on the bridge and things like that. So there is a huge need for all of these phases to be completed, and then in itself, the maintenance phase, which will always be ongoing.
Correct.
Right.
Yes.
So what are some of the things you folks are doing at this particular point? I know you're out raising awareness, you've got the organization all put together, and you're just trying to kind of get the word out, but what are some of the things that you're doing in order to try and raise the much needed funding?
Well, we have our website, brumleybridge.com, and we have our t-shirts available. We have tan and gray t-shirts.
Right.
We have prints that Hollis Taylor, a local artist, she took a picture of the bridge and then she did these prints for us.
Outstanding. Sure.
And then we also have photographs of the bridge. All of them are very beautiful. And you can order all of those through the website.
Very good. I tell you what, the fundraising aspect, I'm sure, is quite the uphill battle. Are there any grants available that you folks are looking at?
We have looked very hard for grants, but of course, any federal grants have to go through Miller County itself. And we did have a meeting where the man who was responsible for looking for those, he attended the meeting and said at that time that they had found none.
Okay.
So, but supposedly they are still checking all the grants that come available to see if it would be applicable for us.
Yeah. What kind of support are you getting from the community? Are you getting more people to get involved in your organization, to get out and beat the bushes for funding? What's the community support like? Because I would imagine a lot of people who live in the area, this is something that they want to see continue. They want this bridge at some point to be opened and usable again, obviously, to get around back and forth. You know, everyday folks that live in the area that use the bridge, but again, certainly people who understand and realize the historic value of this bridge and want to keep it around for that fact as well. Do you get good support from your community or the Miller County and surrounding areas?
Yes, and of course it's a major tourist attraction. Bridal Cave told us that they were having to give repetitive directions to different locations so often that they started creating maps from Bridal Cave to different locations. The number 1 location being Hahatonka, the number 2 is the Swinging Bridges. And they hand out 10,000 plus maps a year. So, I mean, that's a lot of tourism just to go down and cross a bridge. And that's something that I witnessed. September of 2020, I was down there with the intention of that I was going to go out into the middle of the bridge and take a picture. But that wasn't possible because it was constant traffic. And people are more than happy to wait in line, take their turn across the bridge, go across, turn around and come back across. And there's a lot of people in the community, even we're coming up on 2 years in January that it's been closed. And they're surprised because they didn't know that it was closed.
I know that we, as I mentioned, went out there, or Bill Mulder and I went out there as a part of our On the Trail feature that we do, that we show the significance and to show off a lot of the history of the Lake of the Ozarks. And it's, I had been there prior to them closing it, and it's just so weird to have a bridge like that with such significance as a bridge that people still use as a historic bridge that it is closed down, and to look around and see what is going on as far as the deterioration of the concrete and the cables. Yes. It's so very sad. And I know there's a lot of projects out there that people would like to see, have them put money into to make sure that we can save it for future generations. But this is obviously something that certainly means a lot to the Lake of the Ozarks area. As you mentioned, a number of people that just want to go out there. And I've actually run into people that have come down with the intent of going across the bridge, and they get there now.
Yes.
They're a little disappointed.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can still look from either side, that's not a problem, but you can't go out on the bridge, you can't cross the bridge, and people would like to be able to have the opportunity. So you're looking at maybe 2023 as the year to kind of kick things off. Is that something hopeful, or are you pretty intent on getting it underway at that particular point?
We are hopeful. However, Miller County would like to have the money to complete phases 1 through 3 before they start the bridge work. Right. So if it remains the case, then we have a lot of fundraising to do.
I was going to say, now you mentioned the first phase cost somewhere in the neighborhood of about what, $175,000?
Yeah, 160 is what they have here.
Right.
175 with inflation probably. Sure. Phase 2 total was around also $160,000.
Wow.
And phase 3 is $30,600.
Right. And there are 5 phases to this, so obviously there's some additional monies that will need to be raised.
Yes.
And I guess folks can make donations, they can buy shirts, they can buy prints. If there's somebody out there who's got a whole lot of money, I'm sure these folks would love to have a monetary donation, and sometimes people do that sort of thing in another person's name. So maybe you can name a board on the bridge after somebody. I don't know, whatever you want to do, but they could certainly use your help. Marlena, thank you so much. And again, give out the website if you wouldn't mind.
It's brumleybridge.com. And we also have the GoFundMe linked there as well.
Sounds good. Folks, if you can help them out, they'd certainly appreciate it. This particular bridge is a landmark at the Lake of the Ozarks and throughout the state of Missouri, I believe. And possibly is it on the historical registry?
Yes, it is. That is one of the first things that the group did.
Very good. Well, we hope that they are able to attain their goal for at least the first 3 phases, and we'll get to 4 and 5 when it's time, no pun intended, to cross that bridge. Marlena Hatmaker, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Great to see you. Great to have you in. Thanks to Kathy Jeffries and all the folks that are a part of this great organization. We're going to step aside, take a quick break, and when we come back, I believe we'll be talking things over with the one and only true history professor, Professor Jim Paisley, right here on What's Burnin' on Lake TV.
While the financial services industry for years has focused on products, pricing, and performance, or things we refer to at SRG as the how, our focus for our clients has always been around their why. And without fail, over all these years, those whys have centered around family, occupation, and recreation. Think legacy issues, retirement, or achieving a work-optional lifestyle, and checking off those important things on that recreational bucket list. Our foundational approach remains a focus on the things that matter most to our clients and the things that together we can control. And where those two things overlap, that's where we live and work every day. That's SRG Financial and the Mile Marker Formula.
Your furry friends are more than pets, they're family, and at our veterinary, we understand that. With multiple locations, we can service your pets when and where you need it. Our team of professionals offer routine wellness, orthopedic care from broken bones to joint repair, and even emergency services. We are ready to welcome your pet to our family with medical or preventative care. Our veterinary, with 6 convenient locations, the team providing exceptional care for your pet when and where you need it.
Want a dock that will withstand the wake from a million boats? Want a dock that's different from the usual dock? Then you want Ozark Barge and Dock in Gravois Mills. Ozark Barge and Dock now celebrating 35 years of building the best dock on Lake of the Ozarks. And we guarantee every dock we build. So when it comes time to build your custom dock, Trust the best and go with Ozark Barge and Dock, building the best dock at the lake for the last 35 years.
Looking for blinds, shades, shutters, drapes, or bedroom makeovers? On a budget? You need Budget Blinds in Laurie. Bring your ideas to us, or let our design consultants help you create the perfect look for your home. Because Budget Blinds is nationwide, our collective buying power enables us to search many major brands to bring you the blinds, shades, shutters, and drapes you want for less. Budget Blinds. Call us for a free consultation. Budget Blinds, the best in custom blinds and window coverings.
There's a new radio station at the lake, a radio station that's geared towards the community, a radio station where you can have a hand in what we do. Welcome to Key Radio, a community-based radio station that invites you to be a part of the solution. We encourage you to become a content creator. That's right, you provide the content. Listen in at 89.3 or online at keyradio.live. To find out more about becoming a content creator, call 573-280-0532.
Hey, welcome back to What's Burnin' on Lake TV, and we are joined by our resident true history professor, the one and only Professor Jim Paisley. How you doing?
Hi, buddy. Good to see you.
So I want to send a shout out to somebody you're going to have staying with you. So that when this airs, we don't want to forget the one and only Dr. Marvin Schultes, who came all the way in from Lawrence, Kansas, out of his missile silo.
Yes.
And so, Marvin, it's good to know you're here. I know why you're here, so I don't envy you for that. But anyway, let's move ahead to our topic of discussion.
All right.
And that is rioting, and not just your average, everyday rioting in the streets that we've seen here in the United States, but how about what's going on in countries like Iran, China, and Russia, places where you wouldn't expect rioting to exist because a lot of times the government sends in the military to put that down, but things are a little different these days.
They certainly are, and you know, it's fascinating to me that we get so focused on what's happening here, we have a tendency to take our eyes off of what's happening in the rest of the world. And it's been interesting the past few weeks, like you said, Russia, China, and Iran are being faced with people actually rioting in the streets and protesting. Now, I thought it was kind of interesting in the fact that in those countries, the minute you say that, you think, oh my gosh, they're risking their lives, which indeed they are.
Right.
And the common theme there with these countries is that they're all powerful. And the reason why these guys are in charge in these countries is they rule through fear. And fear is the key when you're talking about autocrats and dictators. As long as you can keep people afraid of the government, then you've got some control. The problem with that is there's something called a social contract, if you will. And this is what gets so interesting about it. The people are willing to turn around and put up with the governments in these countries and the abuses that take place because of this unwritten social contract. In other words, as long as I'm going to provide you with food on the table and protection and a roof over your head, people are willing to kind of look the other way. And that's what I wanted to talk a little bit about today, and in addition to why these riots are taking place. Now, these countries are violating the social contract, if you will. The first one we want to talk about is Iran. In Iran, what happened here is you had a 22-year-old young lady by the name of Masha Amani. And what happened was she wasn't wearing her headdress properly. And they have their, morality police, I guess they call them, and they grabbed this gal and threw her in jail or prison or wherever it was. And lo and behold, it wasn't a week later, they come out and say she died. Well, people are saying, what the heck? This isn't right. And of all things, it was the women were the ones that started really protesting. And I found that fascinating in itself, in that the women are the ones that said, we've had enough. It kind of gets into the thing, I'm okay with the government as long as you do your thing and you leave me alone. But now all of a sudden, when somebody can just simply wear their headdress wrong and wind up going to prison and dying, the women said, enough. Now, it was interesting to me in the fact that it brought to mind the women here in the United States who decided when CRT and 1619 and Common Core came out, It was the soccer moms that stepped forward and said, enough, okay, the government is out of control.
Sure.
And, you know, nobody pays attention to riots until you get soccer moms involved. And then all of a sudden, you know, that's a group you don't want to mess with.
No.
You know, I know that, you know, during the French Revolution, there was one revolution that took place, and they marched on the king's palace, and it was fishwives. Now, I don't know what a fishwife is, but I have visions of some woman with a big knife, and that put the king in his place, you know.
Her husband was a fisherman, and she didn't like the working conditions. She didn't see him enough, so she went right down Main Street to the king's house.
That's right. So, you know, if you're going to mess with the women, you're going to have a problem here, folks. Now, the interesting thing about this is that we also saw that the social contract's being violated in Russia. And again, the Russian people, you know, their country's been involved in the Ukraine and all, but for them, Ukraine's always been, oh, you know, the president said, it's just a little, you know, military exercise we're doing down there. It's no big deal. And for the most part, the Russian people are like, yeah, whatever. Until all of a sudden, you know, they're having to draft people. 300,000 people got called up. Well, they've already taken the young men, and now they're going after everybody up to 45 years old. So now all of a sudden, dad or grandpa has a knock on the door and said, come with us.
Right.
And again, the people are like, time out, wait a minute here. You know, we already know you've gotten us in a bind here because a lot of products aren't coming in anymore because of the boycotts. Mm-hmm. But now you're going to come and take my husband or take my brother? No. And so the people, again, the social contract that you do your thing, you let me do my thing, has been broken. This is a huge, huge issue. And you think, well, it's unique. Well, you would think so. But the third one that comes up is another breaking of the social contract, and that one was in China. And in China, this one, you know, it really ought to get all of our attention. Because what happened in China is that the banking industry, of course, is controlled by the government. Well, there were some small banks in some rural areas, and they decided we need to get more business. So what they did is they paid higher returns on your savings account or your IRA or whatever it was. And so they paid these higher returns, and people were all flocking to those banks from all over China. And with the internet and all, you know, you can make deposits and so on and so forth. Well, what happened is that the government stepped in and said too many people are, you know, messing around with the money, drawing it in, pulling it out. It kind of took control of the banking system away from the government.
Right.
And with that, the government turned around and told these banks, don't let people get their money out.
Oh, great.
And so they just simply issued an edict, you can't take your money out of the bank. Now, these, you know, it's a lot of money for some of these people. You know, it's their entire life savings. I saw an interview with one lady, it was the equivalent of about $67,000, and she went to get some money out. They said, no.
Holy smokes.
Yeah. Well, guess what happened? The social contract's been violated, and here come all of these people out to riot in the streets. Well, it sounded like a good idea, and they all got on the internet, and they contacted one another. Mm-hmm. And sure enough, they got this plan, we're going to meet on Tuesday at this place, and they had their cell phones with them, and they looked at their cell phone, and in China, they set it up to where during COVID, you had to have a pass. You had to be approved to travel. I mean, out of your door. Mm-hmm. And this pass, you had a little green star. And if you had a green star, that meant you could go to the grocery store, you could go to town, do whatever. Well, guess what? All the people that had been writing to one another about the riot, all of a sudden it turned red. They couldn't travel. Mm. And so the government cracks down and keeps them from having the ability to even travel. So not only can they not get to the bank, they can't travel. And that's when we saw more and more people hearing about this and realizing this is bigger than the bank. This is not letting me out of my house. Now you start to see these people all coming to these provinces and having these riots. So that's the three big things that are happening right now.
It's amazing to think that these countries have people that are willing to put their stick their necks out there, if you will, because these are normally, again, places where somebody gets a little too vocal, that person just kind of disappears.
Well, and that's the fascinating thing. You know, we complain here about, you know, our government being out of control, but you know what? We get to complain. Mm-hmm. the problem is in these countries, if you decide that you want to speak out against a government like Iran or Russia or China, what happens is you just disappear. I mean, you're not going to get a day in court. You're not going to have a fair hearing. You're not going to have a trial by a jury of your peers. What happens is you wake up tomorrow morning and everybody goes, I wonder what happened to Professor Paisley. And he's gone.
We laugh about it, but
Yes.
that's kind of a scary thought, to live in fear of your government and to know that they basically can watch your every move. They know where you're at probably almost every minute of every day. And if you're not playing by the rules or playing by their rules, you could very easily just go bye-bye.
Well, and think about this, KB. You know, the social contract here in the United States, you know, things running along fairly well, and then all of a sudden we hit things like inflation or the price of fuel. You know, in the case of the fuel prices, what were we told? Well, that was Putin's war did that. Well, for most of us, Putin's war, you know, Ukraine, we've been watching it for 3-4 years, and everybody's like, you know, that's interesting. I know a little blurb on the news, but what do I care? But now, all of a sudden, when everybody says, well, the price of gas is $5 a gallon, and it's because of this war, now all of a sudden I'm a little more interested in exactly what that's all about.
Right.
And that's what we're seeing happen here in Iran, in China, and in Russia. All of a sudden, these things that normally are just a little blurb on the news, now all of a sudden they're impacting the daily lives of people worldwide. And for that reason, I think we're seeing a central theme worldwide that people are saying, our government's out of control and something needs to be done.
Something needs to be done, but at what price? And the price, again, of the people, as the government finds those people who are the instigators and tries to do away with them, putting fear in other people, fear, paranoia that if I speak up, I speak out, I could be the next one who goes away.
Exactly.
Well, we certainly hope that the rest of the world is paying attention. I know you are, and I hope you at home are also taking the time to delve into some of the things that are off the beaten path of the 24-hour news cycle. Of course, we heard a lot about Hurricane Ian, and that was very important, obviously, to a lot of people who had friends and relatives there, the people in and around the area where it was affected. But make sure you're taking the opportunity to learn a little bit more about what's going on outside the continental United States, and keep an eye on it because it very well may have an effect on us right here at home. Jim Paisley, always a pleasure, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Great
Appreciate
to see
it.
you, and of course, don't forget the True History Professor. Joins me over on Key Radio on Wednesday mornings at 9:10. Check him out. It's certainly a lot of fun. We're going to step aside, come back. We've got more coming up right here on Lake TV.
Enjoying What's Burning with KB right here on Lake TV? Have questions, comments, or suggestions? Have an interesting story for KB to tell? Or maybe you want to be interviewed by KB on the show or are interested in sponsoring? All you have to do is reach out to KB at kb@mylaketv.com.
While the financial services industry for years has focused on products, pricing, and performance, or things we refer to at SRG as the how, our focus for our clients has always been around their why. And without fail, over all these years, those whys have centered around family, occupation, and recreation. Think legacy issues, retirement, or achieving a work-optional lifestyle, and checking off those important things on that recreational bucket list. Our foundational approach remains a focus on the things that matter most to our clients and the things that together we can control. And where those two things overlap, that's where we live and work every day. That's SRG Financial and the Mile Marker Formula.
Looking for blinds, shades, shutters, drapes, or bedroom makeovers? On a budget? You need Budget Blinds in Laurie. Bring your ideas to us, or let our design consultants help you create the perfect look for your home. Because Budget Blinds is nationwide, our collective buying power enables us to search many major brands to bring you the blinds, shades, shutters, and drapes you want for less. Budget Blinds. Call us for a free consultation. Budget Blinds, the best in custom blinds and window coverings.
Want a dock that will withstand the wake from a million boats? Want a dock that's different from the usual dock? Then you want Ozark Barge and Dock in Gravois Mills. Ozark Barge and Dock now celebrating 35 years of building the best dock on Lake of the Ozarks. And we guarantee every dock we build. So when it comes time to build your custom dock, trust the best and go with Ozark Barge and Dock, building the best dock at the lake for the last 35 years.
Winter, spring, summer, or fall, Lake TV's got it all. We think it's hot stuff when things cool down. We spring into action when things start warming up. Of course, summer is one big, huge shootout on Lake TV. And we fall in love all over again when autumn rolls around. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, Lake TV's got it all.
Your furry friends are more than pets, they're family, and at our veterinary, we understand that. With multiple locations, we can service your pets when and where you need it. Our team of professionals offer routine wellness, orthopedic care from broken bones to joint repair, and even emergency services. We are ready to welcome your pet to our family with medical or preventative care. Our veterinary, with 6 convenient locations, the team providing exceptional care for your pet when and where you need it.
Hanging out here at Ozarks Cat and Canine, beautiful fall day. And it's nice because, normally when we're out here and it's hot and a little stuffy, the dogs are panting, but we've got a dog out here. She's so beautiful. Her name is Shelby, and right now Shelby is enjoying a little relief, and that's all you need to know. Mary Meow Me Tilly is here, and of course we want to talk a little bit about Shelby, and she's a beautiful...
we have her listed as a Shepherd Hound mix.
Very nice, thanks. You picked up right on what I was doing there.
And we believe she's probably around 4 years old based on her teeth.
Beautiful dog, very friendly dog, and gosh, I think she would be good just about any place.
We don't know yet how she is with other dogs, and that's because when she got fixed, they also did a hernia repair, and she had a very large incision that was closed up with staples, so longer healing time than normal. And once she did get healed and we could put her with other dogs, then the other dogs we'd put her with now have incisions of their own from being spayed. So we haven't been able to dog test her yet. But she's very good, very good with people.
Okay. Well, then maybe it's a situation where somebody who just needs one single solitary dog would love to come out here and check out Shelby here today or anytime. And anything else we need to know about her?
Well, Shelby has a pretty tragic backstory as far as her coming in. If people follow our Facebook page, they may have seen her when she was brought in as a stray and already know these details. But she was found guarding the bodies of her 2 puppies who had reportedly been shot. And the girl who was trying to get her to come to her, Shelby would not leave her pups, and so it took several days for her to get her to come to her and be able to bring her into us. We have no idea what the situation actually was. There was a lot of comments on Facebook that I had to respond to that we don't know. There may be an owner out there looking for her, that maybe isn't on social media. We have no indication whatsoever that the owner of the dog was involved in taking care of the puppies or whatever. But she was very upset about it. She has apparently worked her way through it for now. Dogs are different than humans, but a very sweet girl, loves attention.
She is a very good dog, as you can tell. She got us a little bit on the dirty side, but you know what? That's what they make washers and dryers for, right?
Yep.
So I don't know if there's any way of really reading into how much she was affected, how much trauma she went through, but as of right now, she just doesn't really seem to show much of any of it.
Right. Yeah, she has overcome it. It seems. She's got a good personality, and great with the people. Everybody here loves her. Everybody's been trying to spend a little extra time with her when she first came in. So I think she'll make anybody a good pet.
I think so. She's got a lot of love to give, and certainly with what she's gone through, someone with a lot of love to give would be a perfect match for Shelby. So we hope that she'll take the time to come down here and check out Shelby and all the other dogs and cats that they have available. And sometimes, Mary, this happens where we feature a particular dog or a particular cat, and they get adopted maybe right before the feature airs or sometimes right after.
Yeah.
And so people coming down here looking for animals, a specific animal that you see, don't forget there are tons of other cats and dogs that need good homes. And I wouldn't be surprised at all if somebody coming in, let's say, looking for a dog that we featured or a cat that we featured, would find another animal that's compatible with them for one reason or another.
There's a lot of times when people come in, you know, either they've seen the Lake TV segments, they've gone online, they've seen the dog or the cat, and they come in here specifically to look at a particular animal, and then maybe decide that that one's not the right one for them, and we work with them to find out what they're looking for, and then we make a match with somebody else.
I don't want to compare these animals to like used cars, but sometimes what you go and initially look at is not the one for you.
Exactly.
And so then you have an opportunity to check out the lot, so to speak. Megan is shaking her head. I can't believe he's kind of talking about it in this fashion, but I mean, if you're gonna compare it to something, there goes Shelby.
Shelby has the zoomies right now.
I tell you what you do? Come on, come here. You gonna come over? Come here. Come here. Thank you. Here.
Yeah, a lot of times, especially with cats, what I find is, you know, people will see a picture of a cat and they're interested in it because of the way it looks.
Right.
And then they come in, and just because it's the most beautiful cat on the page doesn't mean that it has the best personality or the personality that fits what the individual is looking for.
Right.
So I always try to ask them, what is your ideal pet? You know, what kind of personality? What are your activities that you do? Do you want someone that's a cuddler? Do you want someone that's going to be more of a, just a guard dog? You know, that kind of thing. And we try to match them up with the right personalities.
Kind of like a dating show. So we've gone from cars to dating shows. And they have them fill out a kind of a profile as to how they are. And so then they try to match that profile with the profile of an animal. Not necessarily will you be dating the animal, but you need to have some idea of what people are looking for and how they are.
There are threads on Facebook, sometimes posts that say, describe your job, awkwardly describe your job. And I usually put, I'm like Tinder, but matching up animals with humans.
There you go.
So.
Pretty simple, folks. Now you get it. Now you understand it. Mary Meow Me Tilly, KB, we're at Ozarks Cat and Canine in Sunrise Beach. And we want to thank the good folks at our veterinary at the lake, the official veterinary services for Ozarks Cat and Canine. These folks are so involved in the community in so many different ways, and they do care so much about animals, and we're so glad to have them on as our sponsor for, of course, KB's Furry Friends. If you see someone, if you like someone you see, the cats, the dogs, I say someone, I don't want to say something, but you know what I'm talking about. Call the folks, stop in. If you have another pet, they can call ahead and make arrangements for that to kind of get that little interaction. We're not sure how well Shelby would work with other animals, but all you have to do is find out, folks, and give these animals a shot. I mean, some of them, like Shelby, have been through some pretty rough stuff. Others have been abandoned. I mean, there's definitely a good pet in this facility for you, and some of our other local shelters as well. So take the time to check them out. We've got more coming up right here on What's Burnin' on Lake TV.
Your furry friends are more than pets, they're family, and at our veterinary, we understand that. With multiple locations, we can service your pets when and where you need it. Our team of professionals offer routine wellness, orthopedic care from broken bones to joint repair, and even emergency services. We are ready to welcome your pet to our family with medical or preventative care. Our veterinary, with 6 convenient locations, the team providing exceptional care for your pet when and where you need it.
More great COMC High School football coming your way in October on Lake TV. On the 7th, it's Versailles home to California. The 14th, Camdenton and Lebanon. And the last week of the regular season, it'll be Osage home to Versailles. Then come the playoffs. The COMC High School football game of the week starts with the COMC pregame show at 6:30, kickoff at 7. Each game will have an encore showing the following Tuesday at 7:30. It's the 10th season of high school football on Lake TV. Cup of coffee with Will and Chris from Slumberland Furniture this week. No Will. Where's Will? We got somebody a lot prettier and smarter. That would be Nathan Bechtel from Lake Expo. So we're going to talk about all those projects happening at the lake, the Indian Casino, the Outlet Mall, the new thing between Camdenton and Lynn Creek. He knows everything.
There's a lot.
Yeah, so Nathan will tell us all about that and so much more. Be sure to join us for a cup of coffee with Will and Chris.
There's a new radio station at the lake, a radio station that's geared towards the community, a radio station where you can have a hand in what we do. Welcome to Key Radio, a community-based radio station that invites you to be a part of the solution. We encourage you to become a content creator. That's right, you provide the content. Listen in at 89.3 or online at keyradio.live. To find out more about becoming a content creator, call 573-280-0532.
Now, I hope you feel better. We had some fun. We learned some interesting facts along the way. And of course, if you've got some suggestions for the show, reach out to me right here, kb@mylaketv.com. Again, mylaketv, kb@mylaketv.com. Thanks to SRG Financial Advisors, our title sponsor, the good folks at Ozark Barge and Dock, Budget Blinds, our veterinary at the lake, and the official bottled water of What's Burnin', none other than the good stuff and the good folks from Culligan, Lake of the Ozarks. Next week, we're going to travel around, talk a little bit about food for some folks in need, food for you if you're out there trucking around. We're going to stop in and see Twisted Tony himself and, work on a cool sandwich, in particular, jalapeno bacon jam, which is the feature of that sandwich. We'll also take some time to meet with some folks from Our Father's Table, tell you about what they're doing, and our furry friends right here on What's Burnin' on Lake TV. We'll see you back here very soon. God bless and thanks for watching.